Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be discussing the training system in general and kind of go into more depth. I do want to mention that this is specifically designed to work with the FM MatchLab training system. If you are using the vanilla training file, the results are going to be very different. Obviously, also, this schedule isn't necessarily meant to be a plug and play. You may have to change things based on your players' personality, when your matches are, as well as just how you see your players developing. This is not meant to be the meta or anything that's been tested outside of my streaming experiences. That being said, I do want to start off in general. We're going to take a look at our schedules. This is the schedule that I designed for one match per week. The easiest thing to start with is after every match, we have a match review and a team bonding. The team bonding helps with our team cohesion, the teamwork, and just increases the happiness of the squad, so it's a dynamics boost. Match review helps with everything in general, and it's just a good thing to have after every match. I even do this after matches when there are 2 matches per week, because with our training file you are able to have 2 team bondings. The first thing that a lot of people are going to notice is that I have 3 match practices in the week. The biggest reason for that is that it increases tactical familiarity, which is important. But the biggest reason I have the match practices is because it trains the players in their individual roles. This means that when we go to our individual training, every single player has a role as well as an additional focus. This enhances the effect of the match practice. I can show a couple of examples here real quick. Let's see. This is one of our best players, and if you look at his attributes, we're going to go to wingback on support. You can see that the biggest attribute jumps, 3 here, 2 here, 2, 2. A lot of the attributes that he's increased by 2 or more are all in key areas. This means that we're not wasting development on other attributes. We are focusing directly into what we want the player to be playing like. And that's, in my experience, directly related to the match practices and the 3 match practices per week. Now, the other things that you may notice is that we have a general possession training. This is because it focuses on all aspects, all the attributes regarding possession. It's not going to focus on one aspect, but we're going to take a general approach. This is because I am playing a possession-based tactic, and I want my players to be able to handle the ball, both defenders and midfielders. And then the goalies, this helps with their sweeper keeping, which ideally I want my goalies to play as. The same can be said for defending. It just increases all of the attributes, whether it's the defenders, you have your midfielders, and then your goalies as well. Again, this is a general approach to focus on the specific attributes of defending, instead of trying to focus on defending all of the defensive trainings in one week, and then all of the possession trainings in another week, and then on all of the attacking trainings in another week. I have developed this training style because I want the players to get a general boost to all of their attributes over the course of the entire year, and it's consistent. Every single week they are training every single category, and you may not see as much growth in some areas, but what it does do is it takes a comprehensive approach, and so I see more growth in the player overall in the way that I want them to play over the course of the entire year. Doing this consistently also allows me to make sure that I know what is and isn't working throughout the year. The one specific one is chance creation. This is when I have a free day, I do want to make sure that we're working on creating chances. Again, like I said in the beginning, feel free to change these based on what you're seeing your players develop like, but this has been working for me. I am doing a youth intake only save, and if you look at some of our youngest players, we can see that again, all of their attributes that are improving are in the most important areas. Mohammed Ben Brahim has only been with us for 1 year, so he is drastically improving, which we like to see. And so is someone like Yusuf Silla. He has not developed as much, because this brings me to the other point. If you have a player that you want to develop, the training can only go so far. The players also need playing time. So if you have a player that you really want to develop, but you can't find the time to train them, play them rather, then you need to be loaning them out to wherever they can get first team playing time on a regular basis. A perfect example of this is our backup goalie. He is going to be our first team goalie next year. We have Lucas Bergman on loan for us, but George Grimond is going to be our goalie next year. So we loaned him out to a lower division team so that he can develop, and we see that he is developing because he's getting regular playing time that he would not have gotten with us, and I would rather get him first team playing time at a lower division than play him in the reserves. Another aspect of training that I think really gets overlooked is your rest settings. So this is what I have for my rest. It's normal intensity when at full health, normal, and normal here. Everything else is nothing. This is because players need to be healthy in order to develop. That is also why you see so many recovery sessions. Nothing hurts a player's development more than being hurt. That means that they miss out on game time. That means they miss out on training sessions. I want my players to stay healthy. So yes, I could schedule more sessions here, and I might see more growth when they're available, but also they won't be as available because they're going to be hurt. So you look, our injury risk is fairly low, the condition is lower, and then so is the fatigue. The sharpness is increased, team cohesion is increased, happiness is increased, and the tactical familiarity is increased as well. Again, nothing hurts a young player's development more than being hurt and missing time on a regular basis. This brings me to another aspect of training that is sometimes overlooked, and that's mentoring. I personally, you can have your assistant assign it. You can do one group, you can do two groups, you can do three groups. I've not seen anything that specifically says this is the best way to do it. This is just how I do it. I have my goalkeepers, my center backs, fullbacks, midfielders, inside forwards, and strikers separated. This means that I feel like they are more likely to pick up traits that are specific to their roles, and also it increases the effect that the young players are going to have from some of the higher players on your team hierarchy. They will be able to have a much bigger impact versus a couple of highly respected players trying to have an impact on like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. It kind of focuses that in. Again, there's no set right or wrong way to do mentoring, but you definitely do need to be doing mentoring. It improves your dynamics, it improves the players. This will have the biggest impact on your player's personality. So if you have a player that might not be as professional, stick them in mentoring with a group of professional players, and they are much more likely to become more professional over the course of their career. The other thing that you can look at that I have sometimes overlooked, these are your positional groups. Now, obviously you can't switch a fullback and put them in the attacking group. You can't change the groups. But what you can do is that if you have a really highly rated youth prospect that maybe he's on the reserves, maybe he's on the youth team, but you want him to be training with the senior squad, you can add or remove youth players to the senior group. Now, there's only one player that I have in my reserves, so obviously all of my young players are training with the senior group, but this allows them to be getting the maximum effect. I touched on it earlier. Individual training, I check this periodically throughout the year. However, I tend to keep the additional focus on the player pretty much throughout the year. The other thing is, you definitely want to be adding player traits throughout the year. For example, Tim Parsons is one of my inside forwards. I want him to be getting forward whenever possible. Thierry Sarrazin is a fullback or a wingback. I want him to be training knock ball past opponent. These do take up the CA ability points, but it's really not that much. And those player traits do have a direct impact on their performance in the game, which can also then have a direct impact on your player's development. So you do want to make sure that you're training those traits. This video is going to get posted on our YouTube channel. The schedules that I use are posted on our Discord. If you have any questions, you can hit us up in there. But that's kind of a general overview as far as training and how I've been going about it in my youth intake only save. Just so you can see, as far as our career stats, these are our career stats. We've been doubly promoted. We've been promoted each and every year. Last year in the 3rd Division of France, we won the Coupe de France, which puts us in the Europa League this year. And this is where we stand in the Europa League. We have one more match remaining, and we are the first team to be qualified for the round of 16. So we have been performing very well. Our training and our development has played a massive impact on that. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Come join our Discord. That's where you're going to get the most help. As always, it's never goodbye. It's just until next time. I'll see you guys on stream. Don't be a stranger.